So, when I see a hiatus in a person's life and then a
Mm-hmm.
person's music, I
Mm-hmm.
always associate that with family.
Mm-hmm.
Almost always.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about your hiatus, but as somebody who knows life, I'm assuming it
Mm-hmm.
has something to do with family.
Absolutely, it does. So like I said, I've been a lifelong musician
Right.
my entire life. I
And
mean,
that doesn't pause.
and that doesn't pause.
Right.
I kept doing session work when I quit. So I had an indie rock band. I have been many, many people.
Mhm.
Uh,
Is that the Pemberley?
Pemberley was
Yeah.
my indie rock band, and
Killed it with that band.
we enjoyed
Yeah.
ourselves big
Yeah.
time. And that's sort of the end of that coincided with, it wasn't just me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a couple of band members were, moving away or getting married. I had actually miscarried my first baby.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, all those like very real life things, music was changing in a big way. This was right around streaming had just become a thing, and labels were freaking out, and Napster had kind of caused upheaval when I was in college. So this is like right after that. This is in the MySpace era, basically.
That's funny.
And, and so all of that was to say it was time for that band to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I was okay with that. And I was just walking through, a lot of personal hardship at the time, the loss of a pregnancy that, for the longest time I thought I couldn't get pregnant. And then I was, and then I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of friendships that were very, very like close knit fell apart at the same time. And so it was kind of like, okay, I need to do this for now. And so I quit touring. I ended up getting pregnant the following year with my oldest, who is now 14.
Okay.
And I started playing music at church, as one does when you're not on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I started throwing in at church, contributing there. Eventually took on a leadership role there, which was its own kind of nuanced and strange struggle at certain points. But yeah, it was a good 9 years of not touring, not playing my music.
Are you writing?
I didn't write any songs. All I did was play for other people. I played at church.
Was it because it was too raw?
I think it's because maybe I had believed a lot of things that weren't really true about what was okay for a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I had kind of decided in my heart that it was time, I'd had my shot and I should have my kids and they need to be my sole focus. That was what I thought at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, that really wasn't good for me.
Well, at some point, you talked yourself out of that, right?
I just couldn't not play anymore.
Yeah.
I couldn't not write anymore.
That's the pause we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That's impossible to a creative person.
Yeah, I had just shut myself off for so much, and I had taken on so much criticism over the years that the people that said those things, I'm sure they just said those things and just went on with their life, but I had held on to it.
Yeah.
And
as we do.
And so I believed that there was something really wrong with me,
mm-hmm.
and that there was something wrong with me wanting to play music. And, one day so at this point, this is several years, because my youngest was a baby. And I sat down at the piano in the church basement and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't just keep not making.
Creating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to write a solo record. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. This is very on brand for me. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to write an album.
This is great.
And so I went home after work because I was working at the church, and I talked to my husband about it. And he was like, well, we'll figure it out. I was homeschooling at the time, working and homeschooling. Oh my gosh. This is like, I'm definitely a more is more kind of person.
So was it a floodgates moment though? Like once you decide to create again,
it was interesting.
Like you got 9 years of bottled up emotions to tell and stories to tell.
There was a lot of teardrops on the piano.
Yeah, I imagine.
So it was interesting. So I started writing and I was trying to find a producer, and I kept kind of running into roadblocks with finding a producer. But I decided I wanted to work on my voice. I mentioned this earlier to you. I wanted to really, if I was going to make a record, I wanted to do something really special. And so I asked a friend of mine who is still real active in the music industry. I said, hey, do you know somebody who could really help me work on my vocal? Because I can't seem to find a producer for these songs, but I want to be making progress and feeling good about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he recommended a guy out of LA for vocal coaching. And so I was like, why not? I'll do it. And signed up and had a couple of lessons via Skype, which was its own funny thing because
Which just went out of business.
Yeah, this is before the pandemic, so nobody did that kind of stuff back then.
So you were a pioneer.
Yeah. So we would meet, I'd have my little laptop in front of me on my music stand, and I would be singing and stuff.
Getting like 3 frames per second.
Yeah, it was really funny. But I started working on my voice, and like the third lesson in, I had this major breakthrough. And I remember the first thing he picked up from me was he goes, so you're kind of a vibey singer, right? And I was like, I think so. Yeah. And then he hit me with, he was like, okay, here's what we're going to work on. I want to measure your, the power, how much power did I have? And so we did some breathing exercises, and then he hit me with Brandy Carlisle.
Ooh.
And was like, okay, here, I want you to pick 5 songs for us to choose from of Brandy Carlisle. And I was like, I don't think I can sing Brandy Carlisle, but okay, I'll give it a shot. And the songs were like The Story.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, now you're talking to a person who, I was so traumatized by the heavy critique of any time I had sang out over my vocal break that I had actually taught my body not to do it. I would immediately switch into my head voice. Singers watching will know exactly what I mean. I would immediately go in falsetto. I would never, ever sing out. I would never sing anything like the 2 songs I sang for you on this show today.
Right, yeah.
But that's immediately what he went for. And so gave me this list of songs, and The Story was on it, Turpentine was on it, Wherever Is Your Heart, it's kind of a deep cut, was on it. We met the next week, and he goes, okay, which song do you want to do? And I said, well, I definitely don't think I can do Wherever Is Your Heart. And he was like, great, let's do that one. And that was the beginning
That's great.
of a breakthrough. And after that lesson, I got in the car. I was out of breath because if you've ever heard that song, it's all right there, like the whole time.
Upper register.
Yeah. And I got in the car and I took a long, deep breath and started crying. I was like, I'm going to lose my job over this. Because I couldn't play it safe anymore and grow.
Yeah.
And that's when the writing started. And the next lesson, Bradley asked me, he said, so what are you doing? Like, you're a professional musician. Why are you in voice lessons with me? He's like, we've, made progress with the things you wanted to work on, but what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm writing an album. And he said, cool. Who are you writing with? And I said, me. And he said, well, I mean, are you co-writing with anybody? And I was like, nope. He was like, do you want to? I was like, I don't know. He was like, well, I'd love to write some songs with you. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah. Do you have a producer? And I said, no. He said, oh my gosh, can I help you?
So everything just fell into place.
And it all just fell into place. And 3 months later, I was in Los Angeles recording my first solo record with Courtney Ballard. So it was just, and since that moment, it has just grown and grown and grown and kept growing.
So you said more is more.
Oh, yeah.
So how are you balancing all of this?
Oh, I don't balance things, I don't think. I'm just fully present wherever I am, So I think that I don't do well with free time. I get very bored.
Yeah.
So it's good that I have 4 children.
So how do road trips work for you?
Well, depends. Are we with the kids or not with the kids?
Sure.
It's all of it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's
because I imagine if you're with the kids, you have things to do. You're not alone. But if you're just driving alone, like going from one gig to another.
Oh, I'm constantly planning like what needs to happen today. What am I doing next? Do I have a gap? If I have a gap, like, do I need to rest, or do I feel like it's a good idea to write a song? Like, I wrote a song on Friday after my...
So you have heavy issues sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I actually lift weights so that I can sleep at night.
I get it. I get it. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
If you knew some of the stuff I have to listen to get myself to sleep.
Oh.
I mean, we're talking about like the most monotonous crap.
Do you listen to the Matthew McConaughey reads a story or something?
Similar. Very similar. Here lately, it's been like baseball card pack openings.
Really?
Just the ASMR sound of the packs opening over and over again. And then the problem is like if they open something that's super rare, they get excited, and then I wake up.
And then you're awake.
Yeah, but like I'm like, okay, I need to find me a video where they don't pull anything rare.
Right.
But it works really great until, oh my God, I got Ken Griffey.
Right.
I'm up. But yeah, it's that, or it's funny because a lot of people listen to music to sleep, and music.
I can't do that.
No, yeah, me either.
I pay close attention to everything.
Yes.
I'm wide awake.
I'm hearing every lyric. I'm like, oh my God, I want to interview that person. I'm so curious about why they did that there. And I'm just like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
The only one that allows me to sleep a little bit is Taylor Swift. Just because I already know why she's doing the things she does. You know what I mean? So like, it's just more calming, I think. Like her new record is like a go-to if I'm really struggling.
It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, Fortnite. Oh my God, that song puts me out. And it's not because it's bad.
No,
it's because it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact that this is so vocally important. Like, this is just your vocals just really encapsulate who you are as an artist.
Thank you.
I think a lot of people miss out on that, especially like somebody you're a violinist. You've been playing violin your whole life. But yeah, vocals are so important.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because you should have rested on your laurels. I'm an amazing violinist. I don't need vocals, but you knew different. And it's clear to me it's because those people were telling you weren't good.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And it was that, well, fuck you. I'm going to show you you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's that mentality, that warrior mentality.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So thank you to them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be who I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that so much.